Howdy everyone, my name is Sarah Mani and today I want to talk to you about curriculum philosophy. We'll go a bit into the theory and the history of the subject, talk about the recent developments in research and how that relates to my area, undergraduate engineering education, and then finally discuss my curriculum philosophy and what I've learned from everything that I've researched. So let's get into it. Curriculum philosophy is comprised of two parts. One, what we teach, and two, how we teach it. But before we go any deeper than that, let's go all the way back to cognitive development and how students learn from a very young age. Yes, from birth. So, Piaget was one of the first psychologists to systematically study cognitive development, and his theory divides up cognitive development in children into 4 stages: the sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and formal operational stage. In the sensory motor stage, the child is 0 to 2 years old and is very curious and learns through the senses. So as you can see, the child will be able to see the cup, touch the cup, feel the texture of the water, and that's about it. In the pre-operational stage is where symbolic thinking happens, and the child is able to make the connection that the water and that what is in that cup is actually water, and then understands what the concept of water is. By the 3rd stage, which is concrete operational stage, the child develops thinking about concrete concepts, which are time, space, and quantity. It is in this stage when he or she is able to understand that the tall, skinny glass and the shorter, wide glass contain the same quantity of water, so it doesn't matter which one he or she takes. And by the age of 12, the formal operational stage, the child is able to think deeply and theoretically about concepts and is able to consider that that cup is half empty and half full at the same time. At about roughly the same time as Piaget, Vygotsky was also studying cognitive development in relations to student learning and came up with his own sociocultural approach to cognitive development. He divides up learning into 3 zones. The first zone is the zone that the student can learn on their own, without any influences from their environment. The second zone is where the students can learn with help, and this zone is called the zone of proximal development. The third zone is beyond reach, and the student does not have the mental capacity to learn at that point. What's important though about the zone of proximal development is where educators come in and the environment that we create for children in schools. Teachers' assistants in this zone really help children flourish, as well as technology and the environment set up for them. It's important for schools to take into consideration the zone of proximal development of their students to be able to have students reach their maximum potential. Vygotsky's theory really emphasizes the role of language to shape thought and the role of teachers and social interactions in influencing student growth. And with that comes Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy is a classification of learning outcomes and objectives formed into hierarchical structure developed by Benjamin Bloom. He divides up learning into 6 stages, from the bottom to the top, and that is the steps in which students learn. The first one is remember, then understand, apply, which is what's taught in a traditional classroom. But it's important to take our students to the next level, which is analyze, evaluate, and create. Over time, teachers have taken different methods for how to educate students in their classrooms, but there are 5 major educational philosophies. These are divided into 2 categories, traditional and progressive. With traditional, we have essentialism and perennialism. These 2 theories emphasize the teacher as the authoritative figure in the classroom who usually stands in the front and provides all the knowledge that there is to the students. On the other hand, we have the progressive models, which are more student-driven and focus on social justice in the classroom. These theories are progressivism, social reconstructivism, and existentialism. These theories challenge the status quo and make up what we call the democratic classroom. And on that note, I want to talk about Maria Montessori. Maria Montessori was an iconic Italian pediatrician and educator at the same time, whose model is still being implemented in schools today. She says, the teacher's task is first to nourish and assist, to watch, encourage, guide, induce, rather than to interfere, prescribe, or restrict. She believes that it is important to cater the environment to the needs of the children, and when you do that, you can see them bloom and flourish. Montessori's theory of student-centered learning has recently been rebranded into another model called the flipped classroom. The flipped classroom is where students learn their lectures at home through videos and then come to school to play with activities and problems that will help them further their learning. This takes me back to Bloom's taxonomy, a concept that can be applied to all levels of education and in public schools as well, but I will focus on engineering since this is my area. Traditionally, students go to class to watch the professor lecture, and in that stage, they remember, understand, and apply difficult concepts. And then at home, they are encouraged to analyze, evaluate, and create based on their homework assignments and the projects that are assigned to them. The flipped classroom allows the Bloom's taxonomy to be flipped upside down, where the remembering, understanding, and application happens at home through watching lecture videos online and going at the student's own pace. And then in the classroom, students are encouraged to analyze, evaluate, and create by working on those assignments in class and having the instructor as a guide or a mentor to help them further their learning even more. It is important to focus on the steps 4, 5, and 6 so that students can really flourish into the rainbow, where the top of the rainbow is the creation, and the rest of the steps are important to be able to see the full picture. When it comes to engineering in specific, there are many hot topics that are considered modern-day curriculum philosophies that are being implemented in universities around the world. These are project-based learning and active learning. These two focus on steps 4, 5, and 6 of Bloom's taxonomy to really help students learn through projects and working together and creating things, rather than focusing on exams where they remember, understand, and apply their knowledge. Technology is really being helpful in this area, and especially virtual reality, augmented reality, and simulation models really help students visualize what they are learning, and they can create structures of their own. When it comes to project-based learning and active learning, nowadays engineering classes take multidisciplinary approaches to those projects. For example, humanitarian engineering is a very popular field that is recently being developed within engineering, which focuses on engineers being able to solve humanitarian problems such as food crisis and what to do with natural disasters. All of these are important when developing world-rounded citizens and well-rounded students in engineering and just education in general. And with the idea of well-rounded students and worldly citizens comes my curriculum philosophy, which is interactive and interdisciplinary. These take up aspects of different models that we have talked about, such as Vygotsky's Zone for Proximal Development, where teachers and technology really assist students in being active in the classroom and discussing with their peers. It takes in the ideas of being progressive and having students speak up in class about what they would like to learn. Team-based and project-based and active learning, so students can work together in the classroom to come up with even better ideas and share their knowledge amongst others. Montessori really stresses on the idea of self-motivated students, and when students are given the opportunity to explore what they would like to, they become more driven and they can explore multiple things at the same time. It's not enough to focus on one area within the world that we live in, and all fields can really help with inspiring others and improving knowledge in general, which is why interactive and interdisciplinary is the way to go. And really, it's just a matter of learning by doing. And with that, I want to end on a quote by Albert Einstein, who says, "The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education." It's really important for schools to focus on their curriculum philosophies to really ensure that their students are reaching their potential. So going back to what we teach and how we teach, Even if students are studying a particular major in university, we should still teach multiple disciplines to make them well-rounded and understanding of their communities. And how we do that is through active methodologies to inspire student-driven learning and have self-motivated students. Thank you for watching.